an operational growth discussion, and you're
Right.
looking at growing your numbers, growing your people, running an enterprise, running masses, this kind of thing. And this is very different from um, honing your expertise of a martial art over a
No,
lifetime.
I disagree.
Well, but
Respectfully, and yeah,
okay.
I would share why. To hone your martial arts, right? And we're just kicking it around. It doesn't mean I'm right. It doesn't mean you're wrong, right? We're just kicking it, right, buddies? Um, in order to hone your martial arts, it's a learning process, right? You have to learn, right? So it takes two people. It takes an instructor and it takes me to learn that skill. Now, I submit to you that those skills that are going to be used are falling almost identically into these other skills. And that is not a business thing. It's not. As a matter of fact, I think it even leads more to what is the most current way to teach versus thinking I know. Now I'm going to take my knowledge and everything, but I'm going to find out. I'm going to go and say, well, I'm going to go with a beginner's mind. I want to know, because that person I'm teaching, or that area, you want them to be technically proficient. Hopefully, yes.
Yeah, if you're going to endeavor to teach somebody, yep.
So the question then, is there a better way that I'm not doing it? And I submit to you that this is ongoing. It's an evolutionary thing. That just because I get my ranking and what I'm doing now does not mean it's effective. And the only way that I can know if it's effective, I got to look up and go and say, what is the most current knowledge in this area? Am I applying this knowledge?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I think where our understanding or opinions probably separate a little bit is because I think there's an area, there's management, and then there's proficiency. And from my perspective, what I'm saying is that my belief is these are different things. And I understand that from your, well, okay. So if we agree that these are different things, then I would then I think there is a professional level of expertise where one has a good throw, a good strike. They can teach. They can do. They can do anything required. And then you have organizational leadership to make sure everybody pays their $30 dues to the organization at the end of the year. These are different, in my opinion, different things, and they're different skill sets.
Definitely.
The business side of things out in the world, they're handled as different entities.
We agree. All those things that I listed are separate skills. And that we cannot get those skills through osmosis. A person has to look at what I want. If I want to be a better instructor, I have to go out and find how to instruct better. It is not through my osmosis that that's going to happen. And I submit that that's the illusion of ranking, that we get up there, we think that we know because of our ranking. That then transmits down to the lower belts, and they never see the connection that these skill sets, how I train, is what makes the difference.
On that, Eugene, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
On that, up to fourth dan, let's say third dan in my dojo, so up to first, second, and third, I look at an instructor 180-degree different. From the day I got my dojo, I look at our teaching committee from a different angle, different eye now, a different way than I ever have in 25 years. And I'm learning from them to this day of how they teach, but I always paid attention in class, of course, and I did what they said and learned and trained. I can't shut that. But as an instructor, I'm looking at their roots from a total different angle than just looking at this big tree that I used to look at. So that's how I have emulated to become a better instructor constantly by going to more seminars, looking how they're teaching and growing from there. That's what I've done.
Yeah, I think that's awesome, and that's part of the process. But I share with you that, or look at that, that's not where we're going to find it.
So
where
you're
going to
don't think
find
you're
it
gonna
is by the condensed information that is out there. That says, if you want to be a better communicator to your students, you have to go to where the best communicating skills are and learn. It's not going to come by osmosis in the dojo. If you want to be able to teach more effectively, that's out there. What is the most effective way of teaching? Because it doesn't come through osmosis, and that's the illusion. Instead of the students or the person or myself thinking that my ranking is going to give me that knowledge.
I think it's an inborn thing. There's certain people that have an act for just really communicating it. They were born with it.
That's been proven true, but to perfect it, to refine it, you can't. It won't work. It's not a question anymore. It's why does the president of the United States of any country bring in an expert to teach them? Why does the greatest guitarist player in the world have an expert come in?
So we all have coaches. I mean,
that's it. Well, in ranking, we get to that illusion that we think we have it, maybe osmosis. So I don't need to look. I don't need to look outside. And because of that, we're going to inherit the repercussions of that. And that's the next topic. I got to give it form. What is the danger of continually what is the danger of continually following this knowledge by osmosis in the dojo?
Oh, that's.
Well, go ahead.
Go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron, come on, buddy.
No, I actually want to get that. That's leads to what I said earlier. At least a point of stagnation and no growth. You don't have any growth. You're going to suffer. And the same things happened in my practice over certain types of years because certain time periods were stagnant. I wasn't growing. I wasn't learning. I wasn't improving my business skills. It stopped, and you pay a price. And I don't care how good you are, but
How about in your profession? Do you have, I know you do chiropractic work besides many other medical specialties. Do you continuously learn better techniques of how to?
I'm constantly attending academic things, but business-wise, I let things go. I wasn't marketing. I wasn't doing this, wasn't doing that. And that got very stagnant. I'm always constantly growing academically, but you have to perfect all the different areas constantly, or you're going to be way down, and you're going to have a slow down. Period.
Yeah, and I submit to you that's the same thing that has in the dojo. In anything, in any art. What do you think, Aaron? What do you think, buddy?
Well, I think anything we do, if we want to do it to our best abilities, then we're going to have to continue to improve and seek ways to improve, no matter what the endeavor. Particularly if it's something you're doing over and over, like a martial art, things like that. But I just want to say I think there is something to be said for practice, for trial and error, and for experience. Now, I don't want to take away anything that anybody else has said here today, but I do think that somebody that starts out in day one, if they've had a year, they're going to do better in a year. Automatically, they're going to do better in a year than they did on day one. Automatically. So I don't want to undercut the individual growth through the experience and the opportunities that are present in the martial arts world. But with that, I don't disagree. So if you want to be a better administrator, then go take some admin classes. You want to be a better communicator, go take some public speaking. You want to be a better teacher, take some teaching courses or things like that. So I 100% agree that there are areas that can be improved, and the individual has to go out and seek improvement in those areas if they want to continue. If they don't seek improvement in those areas, they're probably not going to improve as much as they would if they had. But I'm still kind of like, I just don't want to discount that old school martial artist that's been running their school for 45 years and they've had dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of Dan rankings. And I don't want to say, well, that guy didn't know what he was doing, or that martial artist didn't know what he was doing.
He did obviously know what he was doing.
We can, but to apply the newfound studies, the newfound knowledge, the new information, and apply that to what's already there, I think it's absolute. Yes, if you be a better administrator, you will. And if you practice your typing every day, you're going to be a better typist. And so you apply those specialties, those individual areas or pursuits of knowledge or expertise, and apply that now to your daily practice. I think that's kind of my
I don't want to allude to the fact that I'm saying that there's no value in silence teaching. There's some things that just can't be conveyed through knowledge, and it has to be through that feeling. Telling someone move from your center.
Yeah.
Weight under side. Those you can articulate that all, make all the pictures and everything, but they're not going to get it till they feel it, right? But I think also one of the hardest things to get across maybe on this topic is that you were alluding to, that the sensei that went in and has been teaching 40 years and has a lot of Dan ranking and everything. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's it. The thing I'm leading back to is that Musashi. Every day I get a little better. I'm improving. I'm having to improve. With that, we're very fortunate that knowledge isn't hidden anymore. And I want to submit that and I think, and tell me, maybe we'll kick it around just a few minutes. How you train is what makes the difference from just training. I can go and type every day, or I can go in and learn the process of learning to type every day more effective and faster.
Results-based training.
Yeah, and based training. That same principle applies on if I'm going to teach Aikido. How I teach that is the question. Not the question is that Aikido? Because your dojo cho or your instructor, they know Aikido. Or what makes the difference, and this is what you might call high performance knowledge, is that people start clicking in on it. They start realizing how the process is what makes the difference. I only have an hour in the dojo. I want to make sure the value that I'm getting out of there is going to be the best for my students, right? In order to do that, I have to deal with, is there more? Is there more? That's great grammar, huh? Is there ways in these different topics that help to make more effective martial artists? And the answer is yes. I submit to you that the reason we don't go for that is because we think through our ranking, we're either getting it or we think we got it. And with the danger of that, what ends up happening? I submit to you that you won't be able to put a team together good. You won't be able to communicate effectively. People will start dividing. All the repercussions of not dealing with it seriously taking effect. What do you think about this? Is it really that important to even deal with this topic? That's the last part. Is it even worth looking in and saying, yeah, we should take a look at that from an individual dojo to an organizational group of dojos? For example, if you have a group of dojos that belong to an organization and you want to increase student size, one of the best ways to do it is through marketing and grabbing all the energy from all those dojos working together, maybe into a single campaign. That's a higher knowledge. But if the dojo cho hasn't been studying or looking into that to acquire higher knowledge, you won't be able to communicate with them. There's no reference point. They'll go, no, I don't need to do that.
I think your reference, I think your reference points has to come from two aspects. One from a microcosm, and one from a macrocosm. In other words, you
Very good.
have to look at it from the simplistic to a complicated. But it all comes down to, if you look at everything in life, comes down to keep it simple. But take action. Action is the key. Just don't think about it or just as an idea. But if you're taking action all the time moving forward, you're going to grow.
See, that's where I'm kind of different from you. I say it's not taking action. It's taking correct action that
correct
gives
action.
you the results that you want.
No, absolutely. We agree 100% on
Just clarifying.
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. Yeah. But just thinking of the ideas is great, but you have to be taking correct action. Yeah. And if you don't take correct action, you do the correct action so you get the correct action. You just never give up, because there's no failure. It's failures when you give up, as you know. So, but you got to keep things simple too, and keep moving forward. That to me, that's the key.
Yeah, I submit to you though that illusion is that I'll have that knowledge because of my ranking.
That's our subject.
Yeah, and I'm saying that maybe this is something that I don't see personally. It doesn't work, and I see it. I can see it.
Yeah, but we could break it down just like anything. Today I graduated, had my own business. Whoa, talk about learning. The day you got married, were you the husband you are now?
Oh,
How did you grow with that knowledge? Aaron, when you graduated and you walk into that bank and go, here I am.
Yes.
How did you get to be where you're at? Because those are the answers on how our dojos are going to get where they're at. We did it. We've already done it. Every one of us here has done it.
I don't know. That's an interesting statement. I'm not sure if I buy it because.
Well, you've done something right. You've become successful in what you do, what you have already. So what did you do to get there?
It's I think it's going to be simply back to the topic we're saying, by educating myself.
Right, and you did. That's why you're successful.
But a lot of times my education was what I thought was going to be it for many years. I thought I knew.
But that's life of growing older, and 5 years.
That's ranking. That's my ranking that says I know because I'm here.
Okay, but let's
forget until I got humble and say, "Oh, I don't know," or I have a little knowledge. Then I start going, "Well, I got to learn not to be a jerk to my wife," right? And that's the topic that we're kicking around, and it doesn't take away from any training style that anybody's doing. I think they're all legit. I think everything each sensei is doing or instructor is doing, I'm sharing that. It's once the beginner mind stops, and I'm not getting the results that I want. At that point, we have to decide, do I need to get more knowledge?
That's my point. If you stop learning, stop growing, that's it. It's over.
And that's why
I've experienced that.
We have an issue inside a lot of this belief that my ranking is going to give me that knowledge. Interesting. Yeah, that's a tough topic, huh?
It gets kind of complex and dynamic. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think so. Any thoughts, Aaron? Go ahead, buddy.
No, just, I see, again, I've kind of touched on it, but I see some of these as different pursuits or different endeavors. And I know we're kind of talking, bantering back, with each other on this, but I see it as sort of different. And I see a technical proficiency is something a little bit different than a teaching ability. But I understand the points being made. A teaching ability, maybe that's a little different than business operations, and I see that these are maybe I sort of look at them as different areas of expertise. So from my perspective, looking at it, well, no, I wouldn't just because of my rank, I certainly wouldn't just assume that I know how to market, and I wouldn't just assume that I know how to do some of these things based on my rank. And I think that would be an overstep of anybody that assumed that they had some of these business skills just because they were given a rank in a martial art.
Right.
I'm kind of looking at these as sort of separate things a little bit, but I do understand the point being made that it's all kind of related. Leadership and your ability to teach and your ability to get the respect of the students and all of that enough to actually be able to lead them from the front. I do see the
That's
point.
what an instructor is supposed to be, a leader, right? A leader.
But having your own business that I've had for 36 years, there's some guys out there that know the medical world. They're phenomenal docs, but lousy business people. And I know some great business marketing guys out there. They're the worst doctors. I wouldn't even let a vet let them go to a dog. I mean, and they're successful because of their marketing. So, it's yeah, like I said, work at.
As we go to the closing, I'll submit to you. So you get to a point where you want to teach. You're in that position. It seems to me your number one thing is I want to transmit my knowledge, right? I want that person, they're coming to me to learn Aikido. But in order for them to learn Aikido, there's a second part. I have to guide them in the process of learning Aikido. Right? You're not going to be satisfied with yourself if you go and teach that person Aikido and then they're doing Ikkyo to where anybody will look at it and go, that is really bad. All right. So as an instructor, I have to come to that point to really clarify and get clarity of what I'm trying to do. In that clarity, I have to understand the skill sets that I have to perfect. And if those skill sets are not naturally being developed in my dojo, I have to seek those skill sets outside. But I think it's reversed. It is more, I know, I'm the dojo cho, it's my dojo, and if you don't like what I'm teaching, some senseis are like this, go somewhere else, right? It misses that value aspect of it. So very good, guys.
No, right.
Ahead, buddy.
Don't leave that thought because there's a few senseis I know that, God forbid, they should ever go to another seminar to learn, not just out of ego to be there. I know one sensei that he's always trying to get, and he's very high ranking, and he's always trying to go to different seminars, always learning. He's over 75, and he's still out there just growing constantly.
Yeah,
so you get different personalities and different learning abilities and skills and desires. And are they burnt out? Or they feel like every day is just a new day? Like Aaron said, it's a skill set. Where does that person want to be?
I'm kind of maybe interjecting, beating a dead horse there a little bit, but I want to make sure I connect this. It is not to get that higher knowledge is outside of the dojo. You're not going. If you want to be a really good teacher, or you want to convey how to do Ikkyo, we need to go and look at the proof that this is the best way, and then we try to learn it. We try to adapt it into the dojo, which is another topic, another area. It's as soon as I don't think I need that anymore, But good job, guys. And of course, everybody's going to comment, and I think this one we're probably going to get a lot of.
I think Eugene, the universe is shaped like this, and you're right at the edge of the universe of the really hierarchy of needs of teaching and
right, Maslow's chart
and training, which is awesome. We need that. That's what the elephants are looking at right now. Yeah.
I submit to you that I think we talked about this at end of our last podcast, that the skill sets what is interesting is that they're universal. They're the same skill set as running your business. They're the same skill set of learning to play guitar effectively.
Yeah.
It's not just here. It's like Masashi said, hey, I don't need a teacher anymore. I know how to learn.
How did he die?
Cancer.
Oh.
Died in cave.
Yeah, cool cave, right?
Well,
that's very good. And there's no easy answer here. We're not doing that. We're just kicking the elephant around. And your viewpoints are magnificent, guys, as always. There's a man named Dan Pena. I don't know if you heard of him, but he has always a good statement. He says, "Hey, I might be wrong, but man, I'm sure about my statement right now." That's what each one of us are sharing. I might be wrong, and there's room for error, but it's better to inquire, engage, and look at it and go, okay, we stand back and hear what people have to say and deal with it. And I think we
put it out there. You got to put it out there.
Well, that's it. It's making people think, because believe me, I'm far from having any answer, but each one of us, because we care and we love Aikido, we will find, and we keep growing. That's the answer right there for me right now. Just keep going forward and growing. Grab what we can from every aspect of Aikido and business, because that's all we can do. Life is short. You got to prioritize yourself. What is important to you now? What are your needs? What are your dojo needs? Your family needs? Your health needs? Your psychological needs? There's so much. Life is not easy ever, really, if you think about it. But yet, we just got to keep plugging along.
Yeah. Hey, as always, my friends, great topic. Kind of got into it today and tore that elephant apart a little bit.
My eye's black. I have a black eye.
We're all like, oh.
There's never right or wrong. Remember that.
Yeah, no. This ain't about right or wrong. It's learning, throwing the wisdom out there, and as Steve says, do what I say, and everything will be fine.
That's what your wife said.
All right, gang. Hey, thank you for your time, senseis. You guys are awesome, and I look forward to our next podcast, my friends. Take care, buddies.
Thank you so much.
Take care, Aaron. Take care, everybody.